Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Gavin here from Firewood. You asked for it, so we're going to bring it to you. It's been a little while, but that's okay. Got my dad here today. This is Gareth Metcalf, and he is the builder of this wood splitter. So I figured no better person to talk about it than him. He'll give you the details and what he did, and then I'll tell you what I modified once it came here. And yeah, we'll show you a little bit of it in action and see what you think.
So this is the third wood splitter that I built. The first one was just a simple wood splitter that I built for getting wood out of the bush. The second one was shortly after Gavin started in the firewood business. He was getting a little tired of using axes and mauls, and we decided we're going to make a log splitter for him. And it's actually very similar to this one here. And then Gavin grew up, married, moved away, needed another log splitter. So I said I'd make him another one.
I think the big problem is I moved away, and then they took over my firewood business in that area. So they got my old log splitter, and then here I am back again without a log splitter.
Well, hang on. The first one was ours, all was mine.
Well,
that's but fair. You were allowed to use it. But anyway.
It's okay because Mark II has all of the improvements, and now that one's mine. So
I asked Gavin, I said, I'm going to build you a log splitter. Now tell me what you want different. So I think the first answer was faster.
Yeah, more power.
More power, more power. The second answer was auto split.
Yeah, no, I think the second one was 4-way hydraulic adjustable wedge. That was my number one. I had, a neighbor of mine had a firewood splitter, and it had an adjustable hydraulic wedge, and it is the cat's meow. Like, I don't know why you'd go with a manual one unless you feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger all day. So that was number two, and then auto split.
So ours has manual height. It's got 3 adjustable heights. You got low, you got medium, and anything above that is super high to get the stuff out clear at the bottom. But you wanted adjustable height, and then auto split. Right? Yeah. So we'll start with the more power. Our splitter had a 13 horsepower gas engine, had a 16 gallon a minute 2-stage pump on it. More power is just really more money. So this one has a 28 gallon a minute pump, and to run that it needed a 15 horsepower engine. We're running a 4-inch cylinder, and we've got the relief set somewhere just around 2,000 pounds.
Yeah, I think it runs, it's right around, I think it's about 2,300 PSI is the relief.
Don't know how many tons that generates, but it's more than enough for almost everything that goes through the machine. You'll read online or in the specs that these are 40-ton splitters with a 4-inch cylinder. Yeah, okay, if you took all of the limits of everything, but realistically they're not generating 40 tons. We've got a 25-gallon hydraulic reservoir, which is probably about the minimum you can run on a 28 gallon a minute pump. If we get going on this on a warm day, the temperature gets pretty hot on there. The machine needs a break before you do.
I think you should mention that the valves maybe aren't up to all the flow of the pump.
Yeah, that's true. So it's a 28 gallon a minute pump. The auto split valves, the Prince auto split valve, they're actually rated for 25 gallon a minute. And our adjustable valve for the wedge is also rated at 25 gallons a minute. So we don't necessarily run the engine at 3,600 RPM. It's usually running more like 3,200 RPM. A couple of other things about this, and again, this is modeled after the splitter that I first made. Self-center and trough. Very important to us, right? Time is money. Efficiency is important. So the whole idea here with the self-center and trough is you just drop your block in, it goes down, straight down the bottom. Of course, I moved the cylinder forward, but it's all ready to go. No handling, no positioning. A lot of splitters, it's a beam, and you put your log on the beam, and if you let go of it, it jumps off the beam. With this one, when you drop your log in, it just centers itself. The other piece is the pusher is fully covered. So when the pusher is out and forward, if you're working, say, with a helper and they're bringing you logs, they top it on the top, it'll drop right on top, it retracts, drops in, and again, self-centers, and it's ready to split. No worried about dropping it onto the cylinder and damaging your cylinder or the rod there. The wedge design is designed with a really big shelf at the back. So the 4-way wedge, if you're splitting a large log, set the wedge so that the bottom 2 splits are the size that you want and the rest of the log is sitting on the top. And then you split it, the 2 top halves will sit right there on top of the wedge. They don't fall off the whack, they don't fall off. And then you just grab them, flip them back over, and they're in front, and you can push them through for another split. One of the key design decisions that everybody needs to make with making a splitter is, are you going to put the wedge at the back and push the wood through it, or are you going to put the wedge on the cylinder and have a stop at the back and have the log stay here? The wood that Gavin's splitting, the wood that we split, is all sort of 4-way, 6-way kind of stuff. It's not monster wood that you get from a wood service. So the idea is split it and get it out of here, up the conveyor it goes, and in this case it's going straight into the back of the truck. If you were doing some of the monster rounds that are out the back there, that's when having a stop here and your wedge on your cylinder makes more sense. And then split it, it doesn't run away, you're not going hauling this great big thing, you can reposition it and split, and you take the little pieces off.
Yeah, there is a reason that commercial processors mostly push through the wedge, because then it gets your work area clear, you don't have to touch the wood, it just disappears, and yeah, it's way more efficient.
So I guess there's a couple of great things about building your own splitter. The first is you get to build what you want.
Yeah, the second thing about building your own is you're really not afraid to cut it up and change it. He built this for me as a wedding present, and he gave me one set of instructions, and it was that I wasn't allowed to modify it until I'd used it. I don't know what it was, 20 hours or something like that. That didn't quite happen. It was close.
We got 8 hours in the first day, and then we broke something, then we had to fix it.
Yeah, I was a couple hours in, and I broke off the pivot for the 4-way wedge. It was a poor design.
No. Well, you did wedge a big log underneath it and then force it down.
So you did tell me that the wedge was not intended to be used to lift, move, or unstick logs. And I said that's silly, because what else are you going to use a hydraulic wedge for? And that's how I broke it, because it wasn't intended for that purpose. So I modified the hinge and made it, as you can see here, a little sturdier. It hasn't broken since, and it's working pretty well. The other few things I did, so for me, last year I had a whole bunch of great big maple trees, and they were all split in halfers. You couldn't split them into 4. And then you're balancing a giant piece of wood somewhere, and you don't know what to do with it, and you don't want to put it down because they're so heavy. So I added this tray on the back side here, and when you get a piece come off, usually it works out great with this tough hydraulic wedge. It'll split in half, and if you hold it there, you can lift the wedge up, and you've got this great big piece.
Not designed for lifting.
It is now.
It is now.
And you flop it onto the tray there, and then usually I keep my pickaroon with me. And once you split the next one, you can just grab it, flick it in, and split it too. So that worked out really well. The first thing we did, so this outfeed table, it was this wide.
It was short, and that was an improvement from ours, because ours was originally designed to funnel them into a conveyor, but then we didn't have a conveyor.
Yeah, it had
we had straight
sides.
walls, and
yeah, you get a
they
piece
were just in the way.
Well, you get a piece comes through your wedge and goes sideways, as they do, and it'd bend out on the walls, and it was a bit of a pain. So he left the sides off it, which was great. It worked fine, unless you had a piece flop out and it lands on your feet.
That's exactly what it did. The first big one split, went right down on my boots, and I go, okay, well, that needs fixing.
Yeah, we made a very quick temporary fix for that year, and then I've since made it a little more sturdy and painted it, and it looks good. Now when I built the elevator, the back of the splitter was a bit low, and I wanted the wood to come off the wedge and funnel into the elevator. So I added the bars at the back, and the trash could fall through, and the idea was that it was supposed to funnel it into the elevator. Anybody who splits wood knows that you can't tell it what to do. Like, it doesn't, funneling it.
It's good in concept, but
it was a good
the blocks
thought.
Don't know what they're supposed to do, so they all just,
It was a good thought. It does okay, but a lot of the wood ends up falling out the sides. I don't know that I'm going to modify it. I think I'll just leave it like that and deal with it. It's working pretty well, and the amount of trash that comes out of it is awesome. Like,
it's great. The
nothing ends up in the truck. Like, it is excellent. Currently, I've got, it says here 78 hours on this splitter. I think I put 42 on it last year. And we sold, I think we sold 25 bush cord of firewood last year. So 42 hours for 25 cord. That's a little disappointing. It was great big maple blocks. They were a pain. This year, I think I'm at almost 35. I think I'm at around 35 bush cord split now. And 40 to 78, so 38 hours.
That's about an hour of engine runtime for
yeah,
a
and I haven't been doing,
pretty good.
My process hasn't been super ideal and efficient.
Yeah.
So that leads us to the next thing. We're gonna put a cord of wood into the truck, off the splitter, up the elevator, into the truck. We're gonna be doing it quick, but we're not gonna be breaking our backs. And we're like, this is a pretty ideal setup. All the wood we need is right here. So I need to turn around, throw it in the splitter. Dad's gonna throw it on the elevator and it'll disappear. And we're gonna see how fast we can split a cord of wood. Dad and I put in a little bit of hard work. What did you say it was?
32 minutes, actually technically 31 minutes and 56 seconds.
Yeah, so a hair over half an hour. We were working pretty hard. I don't know that, like, we weren't doing anything stupid.
Well, it's a warm day. I still got my shirt on,
yeah.
so it's not that bad.
Yeah, that's a full bush cord. You can take my word for it, or my customers, most of them.
Or you can come and stack it if you want.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stack it. That's how I deliver it. So, yeah, I'm pretty confident in that. Yeah, it was good. We did so running into the truck. We got to move around the truck a little bit. Move the truck twice. But when I moved the truck, you took over the splitter.
I kept the splitter. The splitter running, which stacked up a little bit on the outfeed tray, and then we had to jam it up. But we got caught up on that.
Yeah.
We had the conveyor got jammed up once.
Yeah, twice.
But not badly.
Yeah. Usually when stuff like that happens, I would stop splitting, and we didn't because we were on the timer this time. So that
saved a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I mean, comfortably on your own, it wouldn't take double that. Maybe take 45 minutes to think.
Yeah, I always figured I could split a cord of wood on my own in an hour, and that's comfortably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I'd like to get a rubber belt conveyor, and then like one person could do it in a half an hour pretty well. Like,
yeah, because if you're not taking them off and dropping them on conveyor oriented the right way, one gets in sideways, then every paddle goes underneath it, and all of its friends just join it in the party.
Yeah, this conveyor is pretty great, but it does have its limitations. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. Thanks for the wood splitter.
No problem at all.
Well, there you have it. You asked for it, you got it. That's a walk around of our homemade commercial wood splitter. It's pretty great. I think it, for a fraction of the price, and
it didn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
And truth be told, I have no idea how much it cost me.
Yeah, well, you do, but you never told Mom. Hey. Yeah, pretty great. Thanks, everybody.